All right, so we're going to start with the Pythagorean theorem problems. So the first one here, triangle ABC is a right triangle. I'm not going to actually draw everything in because this one's a bit tricky. So it says AB is equal to x, BC is equal to x plus 1, and AC is equal to x plus 9. I know that the x plus 9 side has to be the largest. So this is AC, this is B, this would be x, and this is x plus 1. I know it's a right triangle in Pythagorean theorem, so this is going to be x squared plus the quantity x plus 1 squared is equal to x plus 9 squared. So one of the things is I'm going to actually go through and square this. So I'm going to do this in orange. So this is going to be plus. This is x plus 1 times x plus 1. Okay, and if you do the FOIL method, this is x squared plus 1x, so x times x times 1, plus 1 times x, plus 1, which is x squared plus 2x plus 1. So that's my first one there. Sorry, is equal to, so we have our x squared still, we have our x squared still. Then I'm going to bring down is equal to, equal to. So now I have this x plus 9 squared, which is x plus 9 times x plus 9, which is, I do the FOIL method, x squared plus 9x plus 9x plus 81. I combine my like terms. This is x squared plus 18x plus 81. I go through. I combine my like terms here. So this is going to be 2x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to x squared plus 18x plus 81. I get all of my x squared on one side, so I subtract x squared. I end up with x squared plus 2x plus 1 is equal to 18x plus 81. I notice that I have an x squared and an x term, so I know I'm going to have to set it equal to 0. So I subtract 18x and I subtract 81. I have x squared minus 16x minus 80 is equal to 0. Now I go through my factoring process. I'm looking for two numbers. They have to multiply to be negative 80, and they have to add to be negative 16. So you think about the numbers, negative 20 times 4 and negative 20 plus 4. So those are our two numbers. So this is going to be x squared plus 4x minus 20x minus 80 is equal to 0. X times x plus 4 minus 20, because I'm finding the greatest common factor. X plus 4 is equal to 0. So my factored form is x plus 4, because there's a common factor, times x minus 20 is equal to 0. So I take that up here. So I have x plus 4 times x minus 20 is equal to 0. I know that x plus 4 is equal to 0, so x could be negative 4, or x minus 20 would be equal to 0. X could be 20. So I look at this here, and this is saying that my side could be negative 4, which it cannot be. Then I look at this 20. Could a side be 20? Yes. Could it be 21? Yes. And could it be 29? So my answer officially is x is 20. For the next problem here, I need to solve this triangle. I need two pieces of information. All I have is my 90-degree angle and my 22. So I'm going to call this side y. I'm going to solve for this first. So I know y squared plus 16 squared is equal to 25 squared. Y squared plus 256 is equal to 625 minus 256 minus 256. Y squared is equal to 369, so y is equal to radical 369. And that is fine. I'm actually going to leave that as a radical 369. Because I'm going to use that to solve. Again, this is my hypotenuse here, so I'm going to do x squared plus radical 369 squared is equal to my hypotenuse squared. This is x squared plus 369, because you take radical 369. Now this is 22 times 22. 2 times 2 is 4, 0 placeholder, 4, 4, 4, 8, 4. So I have 484. I subtract 369. X squared is equal to 115. X is equal to radical 115. I'm just going to look at 115. I know 5 goes into 115 23 times. 23 is prime. So I actually don't need to simplify, so my answer is radical 115. Number 3, 2 vertical posts stand side by side. One post is 8 feet tall. The other post is 17 feet tall. If a 24-foot wire is stretched between them, how far apart are the posts? This is what we're trying to find. Okay. Now, that could be awfully difficult if you don't know a few things. For this right here, I know if this is 17 and this is 8 here, then I know this is going to be 17 minus 8, which is 9. So I know that this is 9 feet, and so I do Pythagorean theorem. So this is going to be x squared plus 9 squared is equal to 24 squared. 24 times 24, if you don't know, 6, 8, 9, d6. So we have 24 times 24, 4 times 4 is 16, 8 and 9, 0, 4 times 2 is 8, and 2 times 2 is 4, 6, 17, so 576, so this is going to be x squared plus 81 is equal to 576. I subtract 81, ends up being x squared is equal to 495, so x is radical 495. 495. So I have 495. I know I can divide by 3 because 4 plus 9 is 13. 13 and 5 is 18, which is divisible by 3. So divided by 3 is 165. 165 divided by 3 is 55. 5 goes into 55 11 times, and this is 11 and 1. So I know x is going to be 3 radical 55. So they are 3 radical 55 feet apart. Don't forget your units. So, sorry. There we go. 55 feet apart. And Fayetteville Library is 3 miles due west of the post office. So 3 miles. And so this is the post office. This is the library. What's different? And then the zoo is 5 miles north. 5 miles. And we're trying to find this distance here. So this is going to be 3 squared plus 5 squared is equal to x squared. 9 plus 25 is equal to x squared. 34 is equal to x squared. X is equal to radical 34. And I can't simplify that, so that's my answer. Next one, this is determine whether each set of measures can be the measures of a right triangle. Triangle can be formed, state whether it's acute, obtuse, or right. So let's change your color just a little bit. First thing you need to see is whether it can be a right triangle, or whether the set of measures can be the measures of a triangle. That should not be a right triangle, it should just be a triangle. So first thing, is 20 less than 12 plus 16. So the third side has to be less than the sum of the other 2 sides. 20 is less than 38, so that is true. Or excuse me, 28. And so now I use my Pythagorean theorem. So 20 squared is something to 12 squared plus 16 squared. 20 squared is 400, 12 squared is 144, 16 squared is 256. 400, 144 plus 256 is 400. They are equal to each other, so this is a right triangle. All right, next one we do the same thing. Is 32 less than 16 plus 32? It is, so it is a triangle. So now I try this out. 32 squared is something to 16 squared plus 30 squared. 32 squared is 32 times 32. This is 4, 6, 0, 6, 9, 4. So it is, I have 2 times 2 is 4, 6, 0 placeholder, 3 times 2 is 6. And then 3 times 3 is 9, 4, 12, 1. There we go. 10, 24. All right, so 10, 24. This is 256 plus 900. 1024 is what to 1156? It is less than, so it is an acute triangle. Go here, same thing. First off, check to see if it's a triangle. So it's 6/5 should be less than 2/5 plus 4/5. We have 6/5. Is that less than 6/5? No, so it is not a triangle. These ones, to do a comparison, I would actually change this into a fraction. So I'd multiply by 5/5. Let me change the color here. So this is going to be, I'm going to be comparing, this is 9/5, 12/5, and I'm going to call this 15/5 so we can do a comparison. So is 15/5 less than 9/5 plus 12/5? Yes, so it is a triangle. So now I do my Pythagorean theorem. 15/5 squared is what to 9/5 squared plus 12/5 squared. So this is going to be 225 25ths, 81 25ths, 144 25ths. This is 225 25ths, and then this is 225 25ths. They are equal, so this is a right triangle. This next one, I'm going to rewrite this. This is 1/3, 2 radical 2 over 3, and then this is going to be 3 over 3, because I'm going to multiply this by 3 over 3 to get a common denominator. So now what I have to look at is, I look at my 3 numbers. I have 3 and 1, so I have to just determine, is 2 radical 2 bigger than 3? So here's just a little sidebar. You don't have to do this on the test, but 2 radical 2 is the same thing as the square root of 4 times the square root of 2, which is the square root of 8. Now I can compare that because 3 is the same thing as the square root of 9. So I know that this 3 is the biggest side because it's bigger than the rest of these. So is 3 over 3 less than 1 over 3 plus 2 radical 2 over 3? Well, I know 1 plus 2 is 3. So what I have to think about is 2 radical 2. This is actually greater than 2. So I know when I add those together that that's going to be greater than 3. So yes, it is a triangle. So then I go through and do my Pythagorean theorem. So this is going to be 3/3 squared is something to 1/3 squared plus 2 radical 2 over 3 squared. So this is 9/9. This is going to be 1/9 because I square both parts. Now be really careful here. The 2 radical 2, I'm going to square each part. So 2 squared is 4, and radical 2 squared is just plain old 2 over 9. Okay, so make sure it gets distributed to everything. So this ends up being, 9/9, 1/9 plus 8/9, which is going to be 9/9 is something to 9/9. It is equal to, this is a right triangle. So we have quite a few right triangles. I will probably change that in the future. Last but not least is this comparison. This radical 4, this is a 2, so I know that's going to be less than this. And I know this is just bigger than 2. So I know, is 4/7 less than radical 4/7 plus 2 radical 2/7. So I know that this is 2 and this is bigger than 2, right? So that means that this is going to be greater than 4. So it is a triangle. So now I do my Pythagorean theorem. So it's going to be 4/7 squared is what to radical 4/7 squared plus 2 radical 2/7 squared. So that's going to be 16/49. Radical 4 squared is 4/49 plus, now I remember to square each part. So that's 2 squared is equal to 4, and radical 2 squared is 2/49. That's 16/49, 4/49, and 8/49. So I have 16/49, 12/49. I know that that is less than, so that's going to be an acute triangle. And here's your reminder, is for a right triangle, c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. If it is acute, c squared is less than a squared plus b squared. And if it is obtuse, c squared is greater than a squared plus b squared. So those are the things that you have to remember for your test. All right, so let's continue on. This is probably the longest section. So number 6 is write out the rule for 45, 45, 90. We can draw it here. If this is x, this is x, this is x radical 2 for 45, 45, 90. I know that my hypotenuse is always equal to my leg times radical 2. 30, 60, 90. Here's my 30 degrees, here's my 60 degrees. If this is x, this is going to be 2x, and this is x radical 3. So I know that my hypotenuse is always 2 times my short leg. And I know my long leg is always equal to my short leg times radical 3. All right. So this one's interesting. We just kind of split this up into our regular right triangles. This is not your altitude to hypotenuse because this is not given as right. So I look here, I don't have any sides for my 45, 45, 90, so I focus on this one. I know that my hypotenuse is 22, and I know my short leg is equal to, my hypotenuse is equal to 2 times my short leg there. So my short leg has to be 11, and I know my long leg here is always equal to my short leg times radical 3, so my long leg there is going to be 11 radical 3, at least for that part. Knowing that that is 11, I know that this side right here is 11, and I know for my 45, 45, 90, my hypotenuse is equal to my leg times radical 2. So x has to be 11 radical 2. My y value is actually going to be this entire thing. Y is going to be the 11 part plus the 11 radical 3, and that's your entire answer. Number 9 here is my 30, 60, 90. I look at this is my hypotenuse, this is my short leg, this is my long leg for this triangle. It may change, if you have multiple triangles. I know that this is my hypotenuse. My short leg is half my hypotenuse, so this is going to be 13, and this is going to be 13 radical 3. So that one was pretty easy. Number 10 is a misplaced problem. It says find an altitude of an isosceles triangle, so I know it has two sides that are the same, with base 10 and congruent sides of 9. Okay, I put my altitude in, which means this is 5 right here. It says find the altitude, which is this. I see that I have a right triangle. It's going to be x squared plus 5 squared is equal to 9 squared. X squared plus 25 is equal to 81. I subtract 25. X squared is equal to, 56. So x is equal to radical 56. So, and I simplify. 56 divided by 2 is 28. 28 divided by 2 is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1. I know this represents a 4. The square root of 4 is 2. That's the only perfect square that's in 56. And then what's left over is a 2 and a 7. So this is going to be, x is equal to 2 radical 14. Number 11, what's the length of a diagonal of a square with side length 7 radical 2? This is 7 radical 2. This is 7 radical 2. It's a 45, 45, 90. I know that my hypotenuse, which is here, is equal to my leg times radical 2. So my hypotenuse is equal to 7 radical 4. My hypotenuse is 7 times 2, so my hypotenuse is equal to 14. Number 12 here. It says find the values of x, y, z, and w in the diagram below. So I start with what I know. I have my 30, 60, 90 here. Okay, this right here is going to be my long leg. I know my long leg is equal to my short leg, which is 8 radical 3. I know it's my short leg because it's opposite, times my 30-degree angle. So my long leg is going to be 8 radical 9, which is 8 times 3, which is equal to 24. So I know this side right here is 24. If I know this is 24, I have my 45, 45, 90. I know that my hypotenuse, which is 24, is equal to my leg times radical 2. I divide by radical 2. I can't have radical 2 in the denominator, so I need to rationalize. So this is 24 radical 2 over 2 is equal to x. I know 24 divided by 2 is 12 is equal to x. So I know that this is 12 radical 2, which also means that this is 12 radical 2. Knowing that, I know that in this triangle, this is my short leg, this is my hypotenuse, this is my long leg for my 30, 60, 90. I know that my hypotenuse, which is y, is equal to my short leg, which is 12 radical 2 times 2. I only multiply the numbers on the outside of a radical, so y is going to be 24 radical 2. So there we go. There are my answers. This last one, it says use the figure below to find the value of fi. So fi would be this whole side right here. I see that this is 10 and this is 9. So the whole side is 19. So this is a Pythagorean. 5 squared plus fi squared is equal to 19 squared. 25 plus fi squared is equal to is equal to 361, I believe. 19 times 19. And then I subtract 25, fi squared is equal to is equal to 336. the distance from F to I is equal to the square root of 336. Now I simplify 336 divided by 2 is going to be 1, then 6, D8. I don't know why I'm simplifying. Okay. Yeah, 168. 168 divided by 2 is going to be 84. 84 divided by 2 is 42. 42 divided by 2 is 21. 21 divided by 3 is 7. 7 and 1. So I'm going to have, so Fi, I'm going to have a 2, a 2, and a 3, and a 7, which is 4 radical 21. Okay, so that's my first one. So Fi is equal to 4 radical 21. That was a Pythagorean theorem. So my next one here, since I know that this is 10, I know that this is my short side because it's opposite, so this is going to be 5, so this is 5 radical 3. So GF is 5, and GH is 5 radical 3. So that's it for the non-calculator portion. I'm going to do a different video for the calculator portion.